Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play Baldur's Gate 3 Early Access. Today we're going to go over the classes for Baldur's Gate 3, at least the Early Access classes. Starting off we have the Cleric. So clerics are representatives of the gods they worship, wielding potent divine magic for good or ill. So, we're going to have, I imagine, a lot of subclasses for this. We're going to start with the Life Domain. The Life Domain is an aspect of many good deities, offering spells that protect and restore the mind, body and soul. And we have deities here we can worship, including Lolth, which is interesting. The much revered matriarch of the Drow Pantheon, Lolth holds sway over spiders, the Underdark, and the infernal creatures of the Demon Web pits. Her primary goal is to corrupt all Drow, transforming them into heartless creatures. Or heartless cultists. It's not infernal. Law mistake! They're demonic creatures, not infernal creatures. I'm a nerd. Alright, so we have choices of cantrips here. Prepared spells are a bit different with clerics. I wonder if they go into them here. Not precisely. It kind of does, actually. So, we'll go over the spells in a second, but maximum hit points per level is 9, so that's the highest you can get. Spell slots unlocked. Casting spells consume spell slots. You gain 2 level 1 spell slots, which are restored on a long rest. Wisdom saving throw. So you're proficient with Wisdom saving throw as well as Charisma saving throw. Light armor, medium armor, you gain both of these for your class. And shields as well, and all simple weaponry. Spells, you get Bane. It's the opposite of Bless. It puts disadvantage on creatures effectively. They roll a d4 penalty on all of their attack rolls and saving throws. Command, Halt. Interesting. It's a very specific command. Command a creature to halt, preventing it from moving or taking actions. That's probably the best way of doing this, actually. Command in D&D, you kind of choose what you want it to do. It's a one-word order, effectively, but just specifying it to halt is probably a pretty good way of doing it. Create water. Call forth rain. It extinguishes exposed flames and forms a water surface. Guiding bolt. Very, very good. 4d6 radiant damage. Call forth a beam of light. Deals 4d6 radiant and grants advantage on the next attack against the target. Fantastically good spell. Healing Word, 1d4 plus 0 hit points. Plus 0? Interesting. Don't know why it's plus 0. It should be plus... Weird. I guess it's not taking my shit into account yet, but that will get a bonus based on your stats. It should be a plus 3 at this point. It's 1d4 plus 3, because it's based off my wisdom. Nevertheless, it's just a heal. Next we have Inflict Wounds. So, a creature you can touch, you reach forward and you do 3d10 necrotic damage, which is quite a bit of damage. Protection from good and evil. Protects a creature against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. Requires concentration, but it's useful. Also requires you to touch them. And we have Shield of Faith. Surround a creature with a shimmering shield of magic that increases its AC by 2. Once again, this is concentration, but you can do this one at range. As for cantrips, you get Guidance. Bestow guidance upon a creature, it receives a d4 bonus to an ability check of its choice. This is an insanely good cantrip, to be fair. If you remember to do this every time you do something, it's amazing. Next we have Light, so you just create light in an area. We have Resistance. Magically bolster a creature's defenses. It receives a d4 bonus to saving throws. Sacred Flame. Conjure a flame-like radiance that deals 1d8 radiant damage. And then we have Thaumaturgy, you can choose as well. I'm fine with them as it stands, because I'm not actually using this class anyway. And then we have Prepared Spells. So these are all the spells that you know, and you can prepare 4 of them. You can prepare any of these 4 every day. Every time you have a long rest, you can prepare 4 of these. It's how that works. This is just what you start the game with. But these are the spells that you know. As for subclass, you have Heavy Armor Proficiency. So when you take the Life Domain, you get Heavy Armor. Disciple of Faith. Your devotion empowers your healing spells. When casting a healing spell, the target regains additional hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level. So that's just better healing all around. And you gain spells from your domain. They are always prepared. So you gain Bless, which is always prepared, and Cure Wounds, which is always prepared. Healing and Buff. effectively is what that is. Let's go through the deities that you can choose. We have Lolth, which is quite an evil deity. Laduga, the exile of the tyrannical patron of the Duragar. His clerics are the unquestionable rulers of Duragar society, enforcing cold and callous behaviour among his worshippers. Going through the evil gods to start with, it would seem. I don't think the gods affect your spells at all. I think that's specifically off your domain. We have Lakith. The Lich Queen is the sole respected leader of the Githyanki. She encourages their worship and unquestioned devotion, essentially acting as a deity. Ilistri? I don't know how to pronounce all these gods. Don't hold it against me. Ilistri is the goddess of good alone drow, beauty, song, and freedom. The Dark Maiden desires balance between all races, and struggles against her mother Lolth, corrupted aims. Interesting, daughter of Lolth. Saloon, that's one I've heard of. A lady of silver presides over the moon, stars, and navigation. Her powers over the heavens is constantly challenged by her sister Shah, who seeks to plunge the world into eternal shadow. Shah, there we go. As the greater deity of darkness, Shah is feared for her power over the night, secrets, and loss. She is locked in eternal conflict with her twin sister Saloon, goddess of the moon. Tempest. Tempest is the lord of battles, overseeing war and its soldiers. He is the embodiment of honourable combat and condemns needless bloodlust. Tyr I've heard of too. The blind god rules over law and justice, encouraging valiant acts from his followers and relentlessly pursuing oathbreakers. Bane is the dark paragon of hate, fear, and tyranny. Interesting there, that's some links into Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. He ascended to godhood alongside Baal and Mirakul, but loathes them both for taking power he believes is rightfully his. Baal is actually more of a callback to the first Baldur's Gate games, but... Helm. The Watcher is an eternal century among the gods, representing guardians across the planes. After more than a century of fading worship, Helm's power has restored with the second Sundering. Merkel, there we go, that's another one of the three. A member of the Dead Three with Baal and Bane, Merkel is a cruel necromancer turned god, inspiring the fear of death in mortals. He often clashes with Kelemvor, the even-handed judge of fallen souls. Ilmater, another one I've heard of. The crying god protects the oppressed and persecuted. His clergy is sworn to alleviate suffering, even if that means taking on the pain personally. Yeah, masochists, weirdos. Mystra. As the mother of all magic, Mystra is also a very well-known god. Mystra oversees the weave and spreads arcane knowledge to mortal spellcasters. Her clerics preserve ancient lore and protect bastions of magical energy. Ogmar is the god of inspiration and invention, sharing knowledge with the world through his bards and clerics. Unlike many other deities, Ogmar accepts all mortal alignments into his clergy. Kelemvor. Fair but distant, Kelemvor guides the dead to their appropriate plane in the afterlife. His clergy provides last rites across Faerun, but also destroy undead that have escaped Kelvmor's judgment. Then we have Baal. Baal is a notorious god of murder, reborn after each of his descendants were viciously slain. Hey! That's Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. He has a tenuous alliance with Merkel and Bane, the three having attained divinity in a bargain with the fallen god Yergel. Moradin. The Allhammer is a dwarven god worshipped by smiths, artisans, and miners alike. He and Laduga are constantly at odds. Corellian Larathian. So that's the one of the elven gods. Creator of the elves, Corellian oversees the elven pantheon as a whole, providing blessings to those who study art, magic, and nature. You have a lot of choices for gods here, by the way. Gal Glittergold. Interesting. The Watchful Protector is the king of the gnomish gods, a deity of humour, gem cutting, protection, and trickery. Yondala. As the mother of the Hearthling pantheon, Yondala is known for her kindness and open mind, encouraging her followers to protect the home, hearth, and nature. And then we're back to Lolth. So that's a shitload of deities you can choose from. Kind of insane. So finally we can move on to the next subclass. I'm going to have to put timestamps in this video because there's a lot. Light Domain. The Light Domain is offered by deities of justice, majesty, and primordial flame, providing spells that dispel darkness and harm the undead. So the only changes here are going to be the spells you have access to. So we can see here, domain spells you can access from your domain. These are always prepared. You get Burning Hands, which is just fire damage. And then you have Fairy Fire, which can make invisible things visible. Also, you get advantage on anything that touches. You get Light Cantrip, always prepared. You also gain Bless and Cure Wounds. So Warding Flare, shield yourself with Divine Light when using reaction to impose disadvantage on an attack, potentially causing their attacker to miss. And then domain spells, yeah, you get your domain spells. Everything else is the same. Moving on now, we can go to the Trickery Domain, one of the cooler domains. A domain shared by wicked, chaotic, and mischievous deities alike. Those who channel trickery specialize in deception and illusion magic. So it seems you can use every deity for every... Yes, you can. You can use every deity for every subclass, which is cool. Moving down, we get the domain spells. You have Charm Person. That's somewhat self-explanatory. You charm a person. And then we have Disguise Self. That's really cool. You can magically change your appearance. It's really cool. It's just an illusion, but you can change yourself to make you look however you like. You also get Blessings of the Trickster. Grant another creature advantage on stealth checks. You can just do that. It's quite useful. And we have Bless and Cure Wounds as normal. And back to Life Domain. So we have Life, Light, and Trickery Domains. Good to know. And that's done with the Cleric. That took a while. The Fighter should be a lot quicker. So the Fighter. Fighters have mastered the art of combat, wielding weapons with unmatched skill and wearing armor like a second skin. You get maximum of 12 hit points per level up. You have saving throw proficiencies in Strength and Constitution. You have proficiency in all armor, shields, all weapons, including all simple weapons and all martial weapons, and you get the second Wind ability. Draw on your stamina to protect yourself. Once per day, you gain 1d10 plus 1 hit points. That was a lot quicker than the Cleric. Okay, moving on to the Ranger. This one's going to be interesting because this is going to be different to what I'm expecting. Rangers are unrivaled scouts and trackers, honing a deep connection with nature in order to hunt their favoured prey. Interesting, so we have favoured enemy. Gain proficiency in Investigate and learn the Thieves' Cant passive. Interesting. Creatures you restrain have a harder time escaping. Cool. Keeper of the Vale. You specialize in hunting creatures from other planes of existence. You gain proficiency in Arcana and can cast protection from evil and good. This is cool. You have a history of battling spellcasters. Gain proficiency with Arcana and the True Strike Cantrip, which gives you advantage on attack rolls against a creature. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability. Yep, that's fine. Ranger Knight. You have sworn to serve a crown or nation and seek to bring its foes to ruin. Gain proficiency with history and heavy armor. Interesting. That's cool. Heavy armor ranger. Then we have Sanctified Stalker. You swore to hunt the enemy of a holy or druidic order. Gain proficiency in religion and sacred flame cantrip, which deals radiant damage. It uses wisdom. Interesting. And then Natural Explorer, you get a couple of choices too. Beast Tamer. You have cultivated a strong bond with animals. You can cast Find Familiar as a ritual. That's really cool. Urban Tracker. An expert in navigating the wild within the city. You gain proficiency with the Disguise Kit and Thieves' Tools. Also pretty useful. Wasteland Wanderer Cold. You have spent endless days surviving desolate tundras. Gain resistance to cold damage, taking only half damage from. That's really cool. And then fire damage, I assume the same. And poison damage. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. That's actually, like, fire resistance is arguably worth it. Or go Tiefling, which gives you fire resistance off the base, and then you go cold resistance. That's pretty damn good. Or you could go a Dwarf who gets poison resistance, and then take your pick. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Alright, so your maximum hit points is 11. Class features, you get Strength and Dexterity, saving throw proficiency. You have proficiency in light armor, medium armor, shields. All simple weapons and all martial weapons. So that's cool. Also a relatively simple one, but I love the way they've changed this. This is really cool. Anyway, moving on to the Rogue. With stealth, skill, and uncanny reflexes, a rogue's versatility lets them get the upper hand in almost any situation. Max hit points per level is 9, and you get dexterity and intelligence saving throw proficiency, light armor proficiency, simple weapon proficiency. You also get a few martial proficiencies, but they're specific ones. Hand crossbow, longsword, rapier, and short sword. And you get the action sneak attack melee and sneak attack range. Indeed. Exploit a foe's distraction to deal +1 + 1d6 slashing. That's a weird way of doing it. I guess that kind of makes sense. So whatever your normal damage would be with your melee, your sneak attack, you add 1d6 plus an extra 1. Okay. That's a weird way of... Yeah, that's weird. I feel like it should just be plus 1d6. I think that may be a typo they need to fix. Because the range seems to be alright, it's just plus 1d6. Interesting. Nevertheless, you can do a sneak attack, it does extra damage. As long as they don't know where you are when you do it. There you go. Prerequisites. You have advantage or another enemy of the target is within melee range, and you don't have a disadvantage. Cool. So, moving on, we have the Warlock. Also, you notice my armor is changing with all of these as well, which is cool. But we have the Warlock. Vampire Pact to an all-powerful patron. Warlocks trade their loyalty for supernatural abilities and unique magic. So we have a few subclasses here. Let's go with the Fiend first. Warlock in service to Fiends work towards corrupting destructive ends, intentionally or otherwise, and receive hellish blessings in return. So you have a choice of cantrips here. You have Blade Ward, gain resistance to physical damage. Chill Touch, well, I went through it in the race one, didn't I? So Chill Touch. Essentially, it's a necromancy spell. You can do necrotic damage to a creature. It's cool. Eldritch Blast. Conjure a beam of crackling energy that deals 1d10 force damage. This is kind of the bread and butter of Warlocks. A lot of their stuff goes around Eldritch Blast, so that's probably worth taking. You do Friends. So you make a non-hostile creature, and you can get advantage on charisma checks against it. Mage Hand. We've gone through this a few times now, but Mage Hand essentially is just like a spectral hand that you can use to pick things up or move them or get switches, that kind of thing. Minor Illusion. Create illusory image that distracts nearby creatures, compelling them to investigate. Poison Spray. It's a spray of poison damage. And True Strike. I really don't like True Strike, but here it is. Divine a creature's defenses to give you advantage on attack rolls against it. Requires concentration. If this was a bonus action, it would be amazing. The fact that it's an action, yeah, I don't like it. Okay. And then we go on to spells. So we have Armor of Agathis. I love the fact that this is in here. I love this spell. Spectral Frost covers you. Gain 5 temporary hit points and deal 5 cold damage to any creature that hits you with a melee attack. Also worth noting that I think this spell levels up with you. So the higher level you are, the higher level this spell becomes, which is cool. And next you have Arms of Hedar. Call forth tendrils of dark energy. Targets take 1d6 necrotic damage and can't take reactions. It's cool. It's weird and Cthulhu-y. Next we have Burning Hands. Basic fire damage attack. Charm Person. You can charm a person. Command Halt. You can make someone stop. Expeditious Retreat. Turn dash into a bonus action, allowing you to move at an incredible speed. Requires concentration. Hellish Rebuke. The next time you take damage, you use your reaction to surrender your attacker in a hellish flames that deal 2d10 fire damage. Pretty cool. Hex. Curse a creature and deal an additional 1d6 necrotic whenever you hit them with an attack. The creature also has disadvantage on ability checks for one ability of your choosing. It's very, very good. Protection from evil and good. Protects a creature against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. And then you get Witch Bolt, which is lightning damage. Also worth noting, if you hit someone with this, it's like stays connected, and the next time you don't actually have to hit them, you can just do the damage. It's quite good. Okay, maximum hit points per level is 10. Warlock spell slots. So you gain Warlock spell slots to recharge on a short rest rather than a long rest. That's what separates a Warlock from all the other classes. You have proficiency with Wisdom and Charisma, Light Armor, and Simple Weapons. And the subclass gives you Dark One's Blessing. When you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, this gift given from your patron grants you your Charisma modifier plus your level of hit points. So you heal when you kill a creature effectively, as long as you're the one to do the final blow. Next we have the Great Old One. Warlocks bound to eldritch beings in the far realms work towards inscrutable goals, gaining strange powers over entropy and the mind. Do we have any different... No, we don't have different spells. We have different leveled spells. I think we do indeed. So that's the same. Dissonant Whispers. Whisper a discordant melody to a creature. It takes 3d6 psychic and becomes frightened. So essentially you turn people crazy. And then we have Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Inflict a creature with fits of laughter, leaving it prone and incapacitated. Effectively, it's laughing so hard it can't do anything against you. It's kind of terrifying, really. If ridiculous. And then, this is all the same, you don't get anything specific from doing a Great Old One, except for those different spells. And then we have... Oh, we only have the Fiend and the Great Old One. Interesting. That is interesting. Oh well. But that's done for the Warlock, so next we have the Wizard. Once again, changes into robes. Wizards master the arcane by specializing in individual schools of magic, combining ancient spells with modern research. Cantrips. There's going to be a few to choose from here. Acid Splash, throw acid. Blade Ward, don't get hit. Chill Touch, necrotic damage. Dancing Lights, create some lights. Firebolt, fire damage. Friends, you make it easier to do charisma checks. Light, you create light. Mage Hand, you create a hand that'll do shit for you. Minor Illusion, distraction. Poison Spray, more poison. Ray of Frost, cold damage. Shock and Grasp, lightning damage, but you actually have to touch the target. And then we have True Strike, which is bullshit, never get it. Okay, moving on to spells. These are the spells that you know. So choose spells at first level and above require spell slots to cast unless the ability states otherwise. So we have Burning Hands, fire damage. Charm Person, you charm a person. Color Spray, this one's interesting. Create a dazzling array of flashing colored lights that blinds creatures up to a combined 33 hit points. So it's not clear what that means, but effectively you can blind a number of creatures equal to that hit point. So if you have 4 guys who each have 10 health, well, let's go 4 guys that each have 11 health. 3 of them will be blinded and 1 of them won't be, because that adds up to 44 total. So the 3 of them will add up to 33, they'll all get blinded. Last one doesn't. Disguise Self, you can change your appearance. Really, really cool. Expeditious Retreat, you can dash as a bonus action. False Life, bolster yourself with necrotic facsimile of life, you gain 5 temporary hit points. That's pretty cool. Featherfall, slows your rate of fall. That can save you a lot. Also save your friends if they fall off a cliff, you can just cast on them very, very quickly. Find Familiar, that's cool. You gain a Servant, a Fey Spirit that takes a form of that you choose. Interesting that it's specifically a Fey Spirit here and not a Fiend. Fog Cloud. You create a cloud of dense fog. Creatures submerged in the fog are heavily obscured and blinded. You have Grease. Cover the ground in grease, it becomes difficult terrain and creatures within can fall prone. I think they also said that grease is flammable, which makes a lot of sense, and it should be. Stupid that it's not in normal D&D. Next we have Jump. You triple your jump distance. Very, very good. Long Strider. You touch a creature and you increase their speed by 3 meters. It's pretty damn good. Which is, what, 15 feet? Thereabouts. Mage Armor. Surround a creature in a protective magical force. Its armor class increases by 3. Prerequisite, they can't be wearing armor, so they have to be wearing robes for that to work. Magic Missile. Create 3 darts of magical force, each dealing 1d4 plus 1 force to its target. Worth noting here, Magic Missile cannot miss, so it's a pretty damn good spell to have. Protection from evil and good. Protect a creature against aberrations, celestials, elementals, fey, fiends, and undead. Ray of Sickness. Call forth a ray of sickening energy, deals 2d8 poison and possibly poisons the target. We have Sleep. Put creatures to a combined 24 hit points into a magical slumber. Very, very useful. And same thing here, up to a combined 24 hit points is the same as Color Spray. Same effect. Just lower amount of hit points. Because Sleep is much more powerful than being blinded. Then we have Thunder Wave. Release a wave of thunderous force. It deals 2d8 thunder and pushes away creatures and objects. And finally, Witch Bolt, which we went through with the previous, but it's lightning damage effectively. We went through with that with the Warlock. Okay. And then prepared spells, you choose from the list of the ones that you know. You can choose the ones that are prepared for the day. Simple as that. Maximum hit points per level is only 8. And class features, spell slots unlocked, intelligence saving throw, wisdom saving throw. You get proficiency with daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. And you get arcane recovery as an action. Once per day out of combat, replenish expended spell slots. This allows you to cast spells. Cool. And that's all of them. We're done with the classes. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you're interested in seeing the races, there should already be a video up of me going through the race tab and going through all of the races. If you're interested in appearance, I went through that in my Let's Play, so just go to the first episode of the Let's Play, and you'll be able to see all that kind of stuff. But as I said, thank you for watching, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.